All right, good morning, everybody. So, I did my own hair, but I'm allowed to do that because I'm a professional. So, I just want to go over kind of a shadow root technique and what I'm going to do to really show off the blonde without diluting the actual highlights on my roots. So this is my hair dry, and I'm gonna come back on when my hair is wet so I can apply it, and I'm gonna show you kind of my idea. All right, so I'm done with the washing and everything like that. So I conditioned my hair really well. And you can leave conditioner in your hair if you want, or what I like to do is get a lot of kind of filling in, because I don't like my hair toned really. And I'm only trying to shift it ever so slightly. So I'll link below or put it in the description below what I formulated, but we're just gonna go right in. Let's just put it as I'm using a level 10 for everything to pre-fill as much, because I do have very porous hair and I'm trying to keep that shift ever so slightly more than Redken shades. So let's do this. And I also don't have gloves. So big note, please have gloves if you do this. But yeah, all right. So I put in my level 10 toner to fill as much as I can prior. Now I am going to do that technique that I've been talking about with our level 6.5. I will give the formula down below and what I used. So let's get started. All right, so now you're going to grab your brush and you're gonna do sections in a diagonal back starting from your peak. Now right here, I'm deciding where to start, but just go right on in, do the top, and leave your furthest piece in the back where you have your dimension. So you're really just going right along that diagonal back, and your lowest point is where you're going to be able to drag as far as you want with that product. For me, I started off maybe 1 inch to 1/2 inch from the top down to 2 inches, and I'm just going in on the top, kind of filling that, and then doing my diagonal back. And I'm gonna keep those front pieces out of the way, but most importantly, just kind of working through, going through those sections. And from there, you want to keep your brush clean. So when you apply your product, make sure you're doing it when you're applying. And then you can go and section and then re-dip your brush when needed when you are ready to apply, so you're not flinging product around, and it just keeps it a lot cleaner. So for me and this technique, me pre-filling and, making sure that the product isn't going to oversaturate my blonde pieces was really important, because I'm going for ever so slightly a change. So when you see the end result, you may not notice a difference, especially through a video. But this is just me kind of experimenting and kind of seeing how well a pre-filler, works for your hair. So in this case, I wanted to test it out. So before I went in with just my level 6 on its own with just wet hair, of course, I decided to pre-tone in all the ways possible and to see if that really made a difference on not over absorbing that color. And maybe you are in a hurry and you maybe need to clean stuff while your girl's processing. So this kind of gives you time too to just let her sit there, enjoy, her time relaxing at the bowl, and you can, clean up, do whatever, and you don't have to stress out on the color over saturating and over processing, So this is just a really good way to do a lot of things. And if you have a client who needs that ever so slight of a shift but doesn't want a shadow root, I think this is the way to go. So this is me combing my pieces forward so I can tap the front forward. So I'm not really gonna go back all the way. So when I bring that section back out of my face, towards the back of my hair, out of my face, I'm only gonna touch the pieces I need. So again, just kind of tapping ever so slightly, not too much product, getting the front again. And this is me going through every form of precaution that we've been told. So very small pieces, pre-filling, application technique, all of the precautions. And it's gonna kind of show how well and how important these things are, because you really won't see that much of a change, but you will see that little difference at the end. So I definitely put too much in the front, so I'm wiping off that front piece, but that's it, and you're just gonna let it process. All right, so first you wanna let that sit for 5 minutes to 10 minutes, and then kind of just look at everything. But it's really important to go, I'm doing the wrong hand gesture, but diagonal back. And yeah, so I'm going to first comb through my hair. It's already been processing for 5 minutes, in my case, maybe 8 minutes. So I'm just gonna let that comb down, just so it can blend a little bit for the last maybe 3 minutes, 1 minute, however long you need it to go. In this case, I'm really safe to let that sit on for a long time. If I let that process for 20 minutes, it would look beautiful. But like I said, we're gonna go through all the steps of being super cautious on someone who is very porous and absorbs a lot of color. In my case, my hair does that. I don't know why. It will absorb it and it doesn't escape. A lot of people have really blonde hair that the color just, you can let it sit for hours and it'll rinse right out. Mine will absorb and stay right in there. So we're looking at it, looks good, and we're probably going to let that sit for a little bit longer. So I'm just gonna keep combing that through until maybe a minute passes by. And if you want, you can leave those front pieces out and not comb them, depending on your look. So now I rinsed my hair and now I'm blow drying everything out. I put in my products and just kind of working my way through each section, keeping my blow dryer pointed down, getting that cuticle as smooth as possible. And I have a lot of hair, so this sometimes can take a while. Yeah. All right, so I have the finished result. I freaking love it. It looks perfect, and it, let's see. So it ever so slightly kind of diffused that line of demarcation up at the top, and it is giving it ever so slightly this hue where it looks blonder in the front and a little bit darker in the back, ever so slightly. And it kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but it just blends so well. You know, probably could have got away with not pre-filling my hair with a level 10 or conditioner before. I probably could have straight washed my hair, wring it out, and applied that 6 to the root and then do my 10 or 9 to a 10. However, I'm sure it'd work well, but I am gonna say that doing a filler did keep those pieces blonde. So I really do like that, because as much as I like the look of being a little bit darker in the back, I sometimes don't. I keep running away from it because I don't know, I just like being blonde all over. But this did create a shift ever so slightly on my roots, like maybe 1.5 inches down. So when I applied my product, I kind of went into a diagonal back angle so I can leave a little bit higher of a peak with my blonde pieces, just in case if, you know, it was too dark or anything like that. But in the end, I think it's perfect, and I would give it a shot trying to do a filler before and applying in that diagonal back angle, and especially if you didn't do a filler before. So if you are just going straight in with a 6 or whatever base color you're going in, doing that diagonal back is really going to keep that dimension down here and keep you those pieces lighter, but just ever so slightly breaking that line. Yeah, it's a good way of, you know, doing it, but it's all about your end result. So this was fun to just quickly do. I love it, but it looks perfect. It really does. And you know, worst case scenario, if it ever comes out too dark at the root, it's gonna wash out, and it starts to look even prettier over time when it washes out, and you will actually feel blonder. So it really is, I feel like, necessary now to tone. It really changes the look and just makes it a million times better. and it also shines your hair. It's kind of like a treatment. It closes the cuticle and everything. So you're gonna feel very fresh. Well, that's it. Yeah, all right, I love it, and I'll get better angles later throughout my day. All right.